wrestling, uncensored, unedited, uncut, and not for the faint of heart. You can find out more about us at youtube.com/pottyhumor or subscribe at Potty Humor on iTunes and Stitcher today.
This is Dale the Demon Torborg.
My name is Bryce Rensburg. I'm the Chikara Senior Official.
This is April Hunter from aprilhunter.com.
I'm Bobby Ches, a three-time world champion, Showtime expert analyst.
This is Coolio with the Flow, a.k.a. the Ghetto Gourmet.
This is Dan the B7, the only Triple Crown champion in the UFC history.
Hi, everybody. This is Jerry the King Lawler. That's right, WWE Hall of Famer.
This is Jeff Damon from Deadliest Warrior on Spike TV.
You have tuned in and are now live listening to the three-time NWA Heavyweight Champion of the World, Scrapper Anna Pierce. And just like you, I am also locked in. And, brother, we are beyond ringside.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, liftoff.
Exactly. I want to say greetings. Good morning. How you doing? Live on this 30th day of January, 4 minutes after the top of the hour. Welcome into the Shooters Gallery. Beyond Ringside Saturday Showcase is live and on the air. Tag team action on this Saturday morning. From Studio 1 behind the announcer's table, yours truly, Fast Eddie Lane. And joining us live from the Peach State, from the promoter's desk, if you will, Mr. Shane Knowles. Shane, how you doing, brother?
I am doing much better than I was at this moment 1 week ago when my house was without power, thanks to that lovely wintry mix storm we had last weekend.
Sad part, down in my back, flurries here at Studio 1, and that's being kind. However, made the trip to Ring of Honor last week, and it's funny because the SS Schmidtke and I were doing the road trip thing, and as we're going east, now, immediate street side on the interstate, nothing. 2-3 feet in, snow. All the way up into the mountain area, through the Talladega National Forest, snow. Get across state line, snow. Get to Douglasville, no more snow.
It was odd. It was like that one sail hit over the West Georgia, East Alabama region.
Yeah. And so I'm just, to all of our friends and listeners, acquaintances up in the northeastern U.S. and the mid-Atlantic states that got all the good stuff, you could have shared a little bit better. Why you got to be greedy? I mean, really.
Would have been happy to spread the wealth.
Exactly. You know, it's like, and what's funny is they'll sit, a lot of people in the Northeast will sit back and look at us down here in the Southeast going, you got an inch of snow and you come to a standstill? Yeah, you trade. We'll take the snow. You take the tornadoes, kids.
Exactly.
I know.
All day and twice on Sundays. I'll take that one.
Yep. At least with the snow, I can pretty much count on a little bit of comedy because I can sit at the top of my hill, look down, and the shopping center at the end of my block, I can watch people go nuts inside of a Food Depot. Hey, we got to go.
I always want to, I was going to say, when you watch people go nuts at a Food Depot, I want to hear Boots Randolph, Hackety Sax playing.
Shades of Benny Hill. Shades of Benny Hill, my friend. First off, thank you to everybody listening in this morning through BeyondRingside.com, as well as the Beyond Ringside radio app for Amazon, Android, and BlackBerry. I figured I'd go ahead and get my stuttering out of the way for this segment, as well as through Winamp, Shoutcast, Ustream, everybody catching on the live side TuneIn radio app. Of course, thank you very much for everybody locking in on the Beyond Ringside channel. For those who were listening live earlier this week, especially on Thursday, I'll give you the encapsulated version. We did not know. We, of course, being I and my 47 other personalities. Thank you, Sybil, for establishing the ground pattern there. Did not know that the company that hosts our station had a full-scale crash, and they didn't let us know. So when Thursday night at 11 Eastern rolled around, and I'm getting ready to produce Corner to Corner with Stan Grubb, getting ready to log in, it's like, okay, where's the website? Okay, where's the FTP? Okay, where's the server? Okay, damn, what happened? So I sent an email, and this is truth. This is legit, kids. I get an email response back 30 minutes later going, we had an unplanned maintenance situation occur and hope to have everything back up and running full scale. It's like, why didn't you just say we had a crash? I love how politically correct we've come, right, Shane?
Oh, absolutely. Politically correctness is sleeping the nation.
Unless, of course, you're Donald Trump. And then if you're going to no show where you're going to be, at least you'll show up somewhere else where there's television cameras around where people can see that you're doing something, right?
I was going to say, Trump, to my knowledge, last night is still not planning on attending come Monday evening.
Where?
That would be the Republican debate.
Oh, that was Wednesday. I mean, was that Wednesday? That was Thursday.
Oh, I thought there was one more coming that he's not planning on attending. First one of the caucuses.
Yeah, don't know about that part. I haven't really listened. I do know that it was like I'm watching the situation unfold with my dad. He wanted to watch the debate, and all of a sudden, a friend of his called and said, "Trump's on CNN." It's like Dad goes click, and he's doing the rally for the troops, and I'm sitting back going, okay, well, at least he's doing something constructive, and of course keeping his face out there. And when Mike Huckabee and Rick Santorum showed up, I'm sitting back going, smart people. Number one, posing in front of Trump for president banners. Number two, there's a television camera there. Keep your face in front of the television so you're maintaining a conversation center point.
I think for not to get too political to sway either side, but I think. And it kind of goes for me, too, a little bit. When Trump first came in all bombastic and saying a few things that really ignited a fire with a lot of people because they said, okay, he doesn't sound like a politician. He's saying things that I might say at the water cooler at work or at my local watering hole with a few friends, which I thought was fine. But once we got past that first initial stage, then oh my gosh, what it's delved into, it almost, to me, it almost makes me feel kind of funny for even liking when he was first spewing out in the first place, if that makes sense.
I'm just waiting for everybody to say where they are on issues. I mean, on the personality contest, there's a couple that I'm really drawn to, and for those who know me, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not conservative, I'm not liberal, I'm not neocon, neo-lib, I'm not left, right, I'm a centrist, I'm a constitutionalist, and if that tells you anything, there are some things that I do lean to the right about, there's some things I do lean to the left about. Yeah, so that's me. I'm the swing voter. I don't vote labels. I never have, I never will. I vote topic and issues. I'm the scary one. I'm the one who actually likes to listen and read. For those who honestly think that I don't listen and read, wrong answer. And real quick, topic shift real quick. Meant to do this a minute ago. Thank you to everyone who has been so kind as to send over, of course, the happy birthday wishes. Of course, I hit, 50. Yay me. I'm a half a century old. Yes, the big bomb dropped. But yeah, from everything from text messages to phone calls to Facebook, even MySpace, Twitter, Instagram. Thank you. Thank you to my compatriots at Buffalo Wild Wings, as well as my day job for just going above and beyond to make this week a really tremendous one. And I'm looking forward to tonight because, okay, I will hide when it comes to working a pro wrestling show because I know something is liable to happen. You never know, and that's why. I will be doing the commentary suspended from the rafters this evening. I'm building myself a special bird perch platform, and I'm running a long extension cord. So I'll be watching out for y'all tonight. Speaking of,
are you going to be in the J.J. Dillon position?
Yes, or Jim. Actually, I think it's J.J. Dillon or Jim Cornette because they were both doing the suspension of the cage at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at least Dillon played it cool. And Cornette admitted, I believe, that he was like morbidly afraid of heights. And he I remember an interview, and I remember one of the matches where Cornette was suspended above the ring in a cage, and he was just like hunkered down in one little corner going, please don't fall, please don't fall, please don't fall. And whereas Dillon, you could see him, he was sitting down on the floor of the cage, but he had that one arm sticking out, and you could have landed B-52s with him doing air traffic control. And that's something I wasn't going to bring this. I didn't even think of this until you brought that one up. When it comes, aside from those two, what has been one of your favorite moments as far as with a manager? Now, I know being in the position that you're in, you've worked with, you've had affiliations with a number of different companies, seen a lot of different shows, and of course, you've got national television to fall back on. And of course, being the president of Peach State Wrestling Alliance, I know you've had some major moments when it comes to managers. I'm not saying you're top ever, because the minute you say one, you're going to think of another one. But what's just a couple that pop into your head?
All time in wrestling history with managers?
Yeah.
As a youngster, one of the things that popped me so hard was when Bobby Heenan wound up having to wrestle the Ultimate Warrior in the Weasel suit. And putting Heenan, in the sleeper hold, and this was comedic gold when he comes to, and it's the realization of checking that he has paws instead of hands, looking that long tail at the end and going nuts and flipping himself out of the ring. And the crowd ate it up every night on the house show circuit that they did that. But trying to think of another well, unfortunately for Jim Cornette, one moment that stands out in time is the skyscraper match.
Yep.
When he took that terrible fall and blew out his knee. That's still painful to watch when I watch that now. And I was trying to think of maybe one. One thing, Eddie, that on managers, when Randy Savage first came into the World Wrestling Federation, and he was the hottest free agent, and you had every manager on that roster vying for his services, everyone from the Grand Wizard to Captain Lou Albano to Classy Freddie Blassie, Bobby Heenan, Jimmy Hart, Mr. Fuji, and it really stands out at that time. Like, wow, what a strong roster of pro wrestling managers at the time. And of course, he comes out with his real life beauty, Elizabeth, and spurned everyone.
Which leads me to remember the day at SummerSlam when Elizabeth decided to get everybody's attention by taking off through red and gold skirt.
Oh, that look on DiBiase's face was priceless.
The look on the fan's face, and I'm pretty sure the look on my face was priceless. Now, it was the equivalent of a full-scale bikini bottom, which, of course, leaves everything to the imagination. She wasn't wearing a thong or anything like that. It wasn't a G-string. It was a full-back bikini bottom. But the principle of the moment involved that Elizabeth, this is one of my favorite moments for a manager, was normally very shy, very reserved, very quiet, very rarely ever spoke, kept herself out of the way as much as possible, all of a sudden became the focal point. Know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Always very quiet, always reserved. I mean, I think that was something with Elizabeth. We'd never, to my knowledge, we'd never seen it before in a pro wrestling manager or really a valet. I mean, she wasn't out there flaunting, her sexuality. She wasn't engaging with the crowd about look at me, but at the same time, she wasn't doing any tactics like pulling tights, distracting referees. She was literally just there for moral and vocal support for her man.
Yeah, and it makes me think because she would be the complete mirror, and dare I use the word antithesis, professionally speaking, of sensational Sherry Martel as a manager, who was very, very loud, very vocal, very visible, did anything but blend into the background. And I think because of the fact that she was such an accomplished in-ring performer that she was able to do some of the additional things that she did, because when you have that experience, having worked in ring in so many different areas like Sherry did, a person that I knew very well, world of respect for, great person to speak with, sit down, talk to, even have a drink with every once in a while. And of course, severely missed, especially down here in the central Alabama area. I've worked with her a number of times and still missed just as much today as when she left us. But Sherry, just as a manager, much less as an in-ring talent, always able to steal the show at the drop of a hat. Your thoughts?
Oh yeah, I miss Sherry Martel a lot. When you mentioned her name, two things came to mind. A, as an in-ring performer, she was carrying the WWF women's division back in the mid to late 1980s, when there was no Divas Revolution, when there wasn't really someone in power, you know, pushing for the women to get a focal point. Sherry Martel stood out in the ring. And two, like you said, to steal a moment, Bash at the Beach 1994, Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair's first encounter on pay-per-view. I just remember Sherry Martel being so involved with spots during those matches with Hogan. Both Hogan and Flair saying, you know, Sherry didn't mind lay it in there like one of the boys, because that's what it was there for. Don't you dare take it easy on me.
Right. And I think that was one of the reasons why, amazingly enough, I still sit back and I remember her and Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first version of that entrance theme was she and Shawn, or mainly Sherry, singing. Yeah.
And the fun part is, you had a perfect pair in that regard. And I almost wonder if Shawn might have been a little bit skittish about the fact that Sherry could run right along beside him. Because not only as far as on the microphone, now when Sherry started that scream, oh God, Katie, bar the door.
Exactly.
But, yeah, I know. Oh, God. Daphne can't touch that scream. Sorry, kids, and neither can Paige. But when it comes down to it and everything is said and done, you had somebody in sensational Sherry Martel who was probably one of the best all around. She could cut the promo. She could, I got to use the Dustyism. She could help put one every 18 inches.
Mm-hmm.
Whether she was antagonist or protagonist, go from there. In ring, yeah, she carried that division for a while. And like I said, I just have to say it one more time, still to this day missed. I have a picture somewhere in my archives, and amazingly enough, the person who took the picture missed the follow-up. And this is one where I'm working a show in Birmingham with Sherry, and I have one of my moments. I went up to her and said, can I ask a huge favor? She's like, what do you want? What you need? What can I do for you? I said, can I get a picture with you real quick from my archives? She's like, darling, I'd be more than happy to. Thank you for asking. We lean in side by side, and she goes, She pulls me around into a full-on hug, picture taken, and just after the picture's taken, head cleavage. She's like, damn, he missed that one. Sorry about that.
Oh, that one moment Kodak didn't catch.
Yeah, I know it. But my eyes sure as hell did. But... You know, it ranks right up there with one of the questions that I like to ask during interviews, and I don't think I've ever asked you this one before, so I'm going to throw this one at you, tag team partner. What is one of the craziest signs that you have ever seen at a show, for you or for somebody else?
And, you know, I think actually we have talked about that. I think it may have been on Back to Basics, though, several months ago when this topic came. Because I remember this particular question. So a sign that seeing at a live event that a fan has brought?
Yeah.
One of my favorites, this will date when this will tell you when this happened. Of course, I'll go ahead and give you the date. 2002, somewhere in there, 2002, 2003. And a fan had a sign. I mean, this looked like something for Andre the Giant. I'm stumbling here, but it was a toilet paper. And it was the size of, say, one of your walls in your house, and it said Rikishi-sized toilet paper. And just the fact this guy had to carry this in, and knowing when he held it up, it obstructed the view. But I saw one this past Sunday at the Royal Rumble. If you're watching on the hard cam, lower left-hand side, about 10 rows back, and a guy, every time he would hold it up, a big green and black sign that said, the guy behind me can't see. That was awesome.
Actually,
my other one, the one sign that really got me, and I knew it had to be confiscated, was it was during a down period, I guess you could say, for the E, and someone had a sign, "Who booked this crap?" But "who" was spelled WHHO.
Yeah. I remember that one. I also remember, I knew the second you started saying the guy 10 rows up on the left-hand side, it's like, yep. But see, the thing about it is, I've seen those signs. People have brought those signs for years. And every time they do, it's always in a different position. And the funnier ones are normally when they're right near the front, because you know somebody's going to end up wearing popcorn, soda, nachos, or something before the night's over with. Because That sign's big enough to not just block one person, but about 4 people's line of sight. So somebody's going to get real ticked real quick.
Mm-hmm. I always think that it became a running gag with these signs over the last few years where people had signs, if Cena wins, we riot.
Yeah. And
I saw this was a sign a few months ago that someone had near the front of the hard cam, and it said, if Cena loses, we drink.
Hey!
I just thought that was a good counter, to what everybody's been putting with the rioting sign.
I love it. I love it. I like it. And I think it was last year, but it had to be last year because it sure as hell went in the last 4 weeks. Matter of fact, I have it on my desktop because I liked it so much, I took it. You mentioned if Cena wins, we riot. Lo and behold, you've got the perfect line of sight shot. Roman Reigns in the ring and the person behind him about 5 or 6 rows up. If Reigns wins, we go home afterwards.
I didn't remember seeing that.
That is just funny as hell. I love it. Because, you've got all these people. Okay, look, open notation to the internet wrestling community. For which I will sit back and say, if you're going to get irked and ticked and torqued and upset and ill and mad about something that happens in WWE, and you're going to go on social media and say, "That's it, I'm canceling my network subscription," that's propagating drama. All that is propagating drama. I know that you're trying to get out there and tell WWE that you're making a point. Just cancel the damn network. If you're not happy and you want to lash out, just cancel the damn thing.
I've thought about that, Eddie. If I were going to cancel my network subscription and I was that mad, I would not need to take to social media to validate it.
Now, the ones who, if it's theirs originally, the cancellation letter, that's one thing. But to go on social media for Twitter and all the other sites and just to keep saying, I'm canceling my network, I'm so done, da-da-da-da-da. Okay, get rid of the front end of this part. Post your cancellation notice and let it go at that. Trust me.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I'm so with you. Normally, Kaz is the one that gets a little agitated, but you came right into my wheelhouse on this one. I've seen this for the last, tomorrow will be 7 days now. People who think they know the business, they think they know, they've seen all this about, I've seen all this about, I'm canceling my subscription, they don't know what they're doing, old Vince McMahon's out of touch, and it's all about Triple H being the winner of the Royal Rumble. And I'm sitting here thinking, you don't know as much as you say you do. Whether you enjoy him going over in the Rumble or not is one thing, but saying they're out of touch, not understanding business, I would implore to these people to tell me, who's a strong heel on the roster as Triple H right now? Because we all know, Eddie and I both know, that the money is in the chase, per se, with a babyface chasing a heel with the belt. I can't think of The Miz, Sheamus, Rusev, Stardust. I'm waiting. Would somebody still be in that category of a Triple H where if Roman Reigns is to have his moment, that it would have the meaning that it would? And so that's, whether that's my point, whether you would like, and of course, hey, looking personally, would I like to have seen AJ Styles, Jericho, any number of guys go over? Absolutely, for my own personal fan views. But I get it, and I understand exactly why Triple H wants. So all this about I'm canceling, they don't know what they're doing, they don't understand anymore. No, you don't understand.
Exactly. And that's the one thing a hardcore IWC member cannot deal with. You don't get it, kid. What do you mean, I don't get it? I understand. I've been watching for a year. It's like, really? Okay, come back and see me in 29 more years, and by the same token, about that time, I'll have 60 years of effing business. I'm happy for the first 50 that I've been on this planet. Happy for the first 30 I've been around pro wrestling and in it, too. So, yeah. But, no, I understand completely. Because you make a reference to the logical probabilities. And I'm huge on logistics. I really am. I weigh the pros and cons of the situation. I run the numbers and I run the odds in my mind. I run the percentages. And that's why for everybody who listened to Beyond Ringside Live last Sunday And you heard me make a reference to the most irrelevant match on the show, which was the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match to determine which team would be a part of the Rumble. I said point blank, it's a great pre-show match, and it should have been a Fatal 4-Way match to determine new number one contenders for the tag team title. Then, to me, it would have been relevant. Because you look at all 8 individuals that were in that match, and I have a world of respect for Mark Henry and Jack Swagger, the Dudley boys. I mean, I don't have anything negative against Connor and Victor. I think WWE, pardon my expression, screwed the pooch when it came to Connor and Victor and the way that they were handled. They should have never been on a microphone. They should have had a manager, period. And as well as Darren Young, and everybody knows I'm a huge Sandow fan. Great in-ring performer, charismatic, witty as hell, and great on a microphone. Completely and totally mishandled the situation with Damian Sandow. I look at all 8 of those gentlemen, and I ask myself, okay, which team wins? Which team has a relevant possibility of winning the Rumble in the slightest? None of them. I will use the adage which was coined here on this station by the Horseman's Advocate Andy Hudson. If any of those 8 that made it to the Rumble would be cannon fodder. Filler. And that's fine. It makes for entertaining moments. But if you ask me if that's going to be relevant to the outcome and the ending of the Rumble, wrong answer. Next question, please. Shane, agree or disagree, sir?
Totally agree. Just felt like, I think the reason it was, the reason it was on the pre-show was for that reason. WWE didn't want you to think anyone, if they really wanted you to believe that a guy could elevate himself or that tag team themselves from that match into a strong standing at the Rumble, it would not have been on the pre-show, in my opinion. But they knew it was filler. It was conditioned to be filler, and it would fill time.
And I think, now this is just hyperbole and a hypothesis on my part. If you look, and I'm going to do a wicked cross-reference here, kids, and I don't mean Wicked Nemesis. That's one. I feel like I should be doing a Kevin Nealon, Mr. Subliminal there for a second. As we're 29 after I'm going to take us to break on this little point. NASCAR fans understand the concept very well, just like in NCAA basketball fans, especially the play-in game, the play-in race for the All-Star game, or the shootout. Okay, who can win this and then turn around and win the big one at the end of the night? If you're going to have that play-in match, give the people something that they can wrap their heads and their hearts around, which is the key to this industry to begin with. That's the key to the whole world of professional wrestling, including drink the business. Because, case point scenario, a couple of years ago, you had the play-in race for, I'm trying to remember the exact scenario it was, for the duels. And I think it was the All-Star race. And Casey Kane won the play-in race. And then turned around and won the All-Star race. That's something that is credible because we all know on a 43-car NASCAR race, there are some drivers that you expect, there's that word, to win. There are those that you know can win. There are those that you hope will make a great showing. And there are those that you're going to sit back and say, well, damn, they finished. Tell you what, I'm going to leave it on that note. 3 minutes. We'll be back. The Shooter's Gallery continues right after this.
This is Country Jack, Corey Hollis, and you are locked in to Beyond Ringside.
When planning your next party or special event, insist on the best. Full Range Entertainment is a professional entertainment company providing a full range of services. From professional disc jockeys and MCs to catering and photography, when the details of your special day must be perfect, call us first. Wedding receptions, corporate parties, school functions, birthday celebrations, and more. We also have Birmingham's largest selection of karaoke tracks available. With over 40 years combined experience, Full Range Entertainment can provide you with the talent and professionalism you need and deserve to make your next event one you'll never forget. For more information on the full range of services we offer, call 533-HITS. That's 533-HITS. Or check us out on our website at fullrangeentertainment.com.
This is Evan Ginsberg, associate producer of the movie The Wrestler, host of Legends Radio and Legends TV, and you're locked into Beyond Ringside.
Howdy, friends. This is the Magic City Motor Mouth, Fast Eddie Lane, with your invitation to join yours truly, along with Mark Mabo Bowman and the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, every Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific, for Beyond Ringside Live. Wrestling, mixed martial arts, sports talk, and a whole lot more. Keep your eyes open on BeyondRingside.com for all of upcoming show information, and of course, catch us on social media as well. Until then, we'll see you this Sunday, 6:30 Eastern, for Beyond Ringside Live on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
This is Larry Goodman, GWH News and Notes, and you're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
The To Be Determined show live Wednesday nights, 9 Central Standard Time. Join myself, the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, the Grand Design, Clyde Braddock, and the Magic City Motor Fast Eddie Lane as we take you to the edge of uncensored. Yes, we go uncensored, so make sure you have your earmuffs. Ask your parents, for those of you that are a little young, maybe under 18, but make sure if you have any heart conditions or any mental defects, please listen, because they may take effect right here live every Wednesday night, 9 Central Standard Time. Beyond Ringside Radio Network, beyondringside.com.
This is Dr. Tom Pritchard, and if you want to listen to the best in professional wrestling, get locked in to Beyond Ringside.
2010, after 2 years of constant bullying, 11-year-old Ty Smalley took his own life. In the past 7 years, more than 55,000 children have taken their own lives due to bullying. That's 22 youth suicides every day. Stand for the Silent is a grassroots organization that educates people about the harsh reality of bullying and the devastation it causes, and they need your help. Visit standforthesilent.org to learn how you can get involved and help us to save lives.
I stand for the silent.
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 I'm Roddy Piper, and we stand for the silent.
This is Super Cop Dick Justice, America's favorite wrestler, American-born hero. And right now, like a stiff bear hug, you are locked into Beyond Ringside.
Hi, this is April Hunter from aprilhunter.com, and you're locked into Beyond Ringside.
We promise, we deliver. Welcome back into the Shooters Gallery, live on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. Fast Eddie Lane over here. Shane Knowles over there. What's up?
You stole my line. Over here, over there. Good job, Eddie. I'm doing fine. I won't say stole. That's such a bad accusation for a man that's celebrating the half-century mark. You lifted my phrase. How about that?
We'll just go with, I procured. God, you actually had me thinking about that moment in Star Trek, the Abrams version where Spock met Spock, and I had the Leonard Nimoy moment going, I implied. I'm sorry, I have to sit back and say it. I have a world of respect for what Abrams did with that movie. Granted, they pulled the alternative timeline and alternate reality universe thing, but I still sit back and say that Abrams and the entire cast, the entire production team, did such a phenomenal job on that movie. That's one that I can still sit back and watch. Into Darkness was excellent, but they always say the original is still, and I'm still inclined to go in that direction. I'm waiting for Kill Shot, and this had better be good. Are you waiting for this one?
I am. I was thinking about the moment when you said Spock met Spock. A friend that I saw it with, he's a huge Trekkie for the last 30 to 70 years. And I mean, he was marking out in the theater like all of us seeing AJ Styles in the Rumble this past Sunday.
Therein lies, by the way, I have yet to ask you, Your overall
That was
perspective.
my bad segue.
No, thank you for the setup. Yeah, I'll come back to the NASCAR reference in a couple of minutes. But matter of fact, hold on to that thought, because before we do, you actually looked up and confirmed what we were what I was making a reference to before we went to break, and you brought it up with Michael Waltrip. If you would, go ahead.
Sure, Michael Waltrip, the first person to win what is now known as the All-Star race in NASCAR, back then known as the Winston, after winning the Winston Open, which is the race for those that have not won a championship or won a race in the past year to have to qualify to get in. He actually won the All-Star race before ever winning one of the points races in NASCAR.
And to my knowledge, I think you and I spoke off air and agreed that that's been done, I believe, 3 different occasions: Michael Waltrip, Jamie McMurray, and Casey Kane.
That's correct. You get to looking Waltrip in 1996. The next time it was accomplished certainly had to be after 2010. So quite a while Michael had that dubious honor for himself.
Hard to believe Daytona's right around the corner, isn't it?
Oh, my gosh, less than a month. February the 21st. We're looking at, what, a month from today? Or basically 4 weeks.
About 4 weeks. I think the happiest person in creation right now is my father. Because with everything that has occurred, he has been behind Rowdy. And the fun part is, everybody who knows me knows the fact that I'll talk about my dad being a huge Carl Edwards fan. I don't know. He could probably have about 23 of my personalities and be fans too. But my dad is not sitting back going, this is the year for Carl. My dad is sitting back going, I hope he has a good season. He and I are the same ilk. There are 2 drivers. Actually, there's one driver I feel, and this is going to get me some heat. Sorry, kids. There is one driver that I genuinely feel has to step up and win the championship this year. There's a bunch that I want to. Look, in my heart, I want Tony Stewart to go out on top. But by the same token, I think one driver who has to have that banner year this year and let it come all the way down to the final race, if nothing else, Dale Jr. And matter of fact, before I go any further, Shane, your thoughts? Agree or disagree?
Well, I've been saying, unfortunately, it's been put up for shut-up time for Junior Nation for quite a while now. And, I mean, I don't say this. I like Dale Jr. He's not my driver I root for per se, but I like the guy. He has a very affable personality, and I just look, I mean, he's not a kid anymore. I think you and I did this off-air maybe a few weeks ago where once Tony Stewart, or excuse me, now that Jeff Gordon is gone, Tony Stewart came in the year 2000 to the Sprint Cup Series. You're looking at Matt Kenseth and Dale Jr. as the longest actively running full-time rides. I mean, he's 41 years old now, and I'm sorry if people don't like this when I say it. I try not to be too controversial, but I'm going to say it here on this program. If we're going to chastise Kyle Petty, who had a lot of wins, you look about 3 or 4 top 5 finishes in the points for not being Richard. And I mean, that's such an unfair comparison, but what I'm saying is you and I both lived during that time when Kyle Petty was just scrutinized, dear God, if there was social media during that time. And unfortunately, Dale Jr.'s had to put up with it. But it seems to me people are more inclined to make those excuses for why Dale Jr. hasn't won a title than they did for Kyle Petty. And I'm like, look, both men won a lot of races. Their fathers both won 7 championships. To me, it's almost getting into the same. I mean, like I said, he's 41. There's no spring chicken here. So when you say the pressure is on, that window, and you and I both know this, has to be closing within, I'd say, a 3 to 4 year window of a serious run at the championship.
Yeah, thereabouts. But that's the fun part of NASCAR. Anything can happen on any given year. Just look at last year in Kyle Busch. And here's the thing about it. I'm going to go ahead and do the comparison that everybody hates. Because in every sport, in every industry, we always have, even in acting, even in Hollywood, you have those who are classified as, and I call this the worst possible moniker anyone could ever have, the best who never did win a championship. Look, I'm a Dale Earnhardt Jr. fan. I'm a bigger fan of Dad. I'm a huge Tony Stewart fan. Even when Stewart was popping the controversial comments about yet another Alabama redneck at Talladega. I'm one of the ones who said that too, and I was at Talladega that year. So I paid my money. I earned the right to say it. And with everybody else who's made the commentaries, yeah, will Dale Jr. be the best driver who's never won a championship? No. Is Dale Jr. the most popular driver for a reason? Yes. Do I feel that Dale Jr. has to win a championship to validate his career and his legacy? No. I feel it is a positive if he does, but I don't think he absolutely has to. There have been a number of drivers that I've cheered for that have won titles and have never won titles. I mean, look, one of my favorite drivers of all time, thank you, Dan Patrick and Keith Olbermann, was Dick Trickle. Enough said. Fill in the blank there, kids. The names are everything, plain and simple. But no. Yeah, I'm, and like I said, I'm not trying to be controversial when I say that the onus is on Hendrick Motorsports to put Dale Jr. in a position to win a championship this year. They did a great job last year. Dale had a damn good season. I'm happy that he made the chase and he made it as far in as he did. Would I have liked to have seen him go further? Yes. Would I have liked to have seen him win it? Yes. Am I disappointed that he didn't win it? A little bit. But by the same token, I'm not up in arms going, that's it, I'm done watching NASCAR. I would have been done watching NASCAR if Joey Logano would have won the damn title. I'm
canceling my NASCAR subscription.
I would have just quietly taken a year off, and the Orange Cone would have sent back and said on Twitter, hey, Eddie, where you at? It's like, not there. I'll see you in a year.
By the way, I want to mention this real quick. Speaking of NASCAR, I felt it was so... I don't want to use the word disrespectful, but I hate to say it was just kind of really glossed over and not really even touched on. But Barney Hall passed away this week at the age of 83 years old. Long-time NASCAR radio announcer. As a matter of fact, had covered all but 4 of the 57 Daytona 500s in history. Used to love listening to Barney on the MRN radio telecast. So this will be missed.
This is where I hate myself for taking a hiatus from social media. I did not even see that. Yes, I'm admitting something there, kids. I admit I missed something.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm so. When I first said I don't want to say disrespectful, but so gloss. I mean, I only saw it scrolling on the ESPN ticker one morning when I got up before work to watch some of the Australian Open tennis, and you saw it very briefly. That was it. Not brought up on PTI, Around the Horn, First Take, any of the sports shows where normally they mention those that we have lost. It was like, wow, you had to see that or be on a NASCAR site to know. So.
The voice of NASCAR, as he has been called on more than one occasion by more than one person, and it's wow.
Sorry to hit you with that, Eddie.
Oh no, it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine, and I mean, look, I appreciate the fact that you did it, and I will use this in the strongest term possible now. I hate the fact that I missed this memo. I really do. Look, case point scenario, you miss a day, you miss a lot, regardless of what you might think.
Well, and, I don't know if we spoke of this. I think we've only done the Shooters Gallery once or twice this month, 2016. But
right,
just continuing, what a horrible month for losing some of our fan favorites and heroes in the world of sports, music, and entertainment altogether.
Yeah, I'm just now getting the memo also that Paul Kantner, the co-founder of the iconic rock group Jefferson Airplane, and of course later created Jefferson Starship, just passed away at the age of 74. I'm a huge, not a big fan of the We Built This City era of Starship, but Airplane... I mean, look...
I was going to say more the Jane era of Jefferson Starship.
Pretty much, No Way Out. Him and Grace just made a great combination. And before that old shooting match, Airplane, White Rabbit, all of the above, just going all the way back to it. Kantner helped create some great moments in rock music. I believe Airplane was formed originally in '65, 1 year before I was born. Yeah.
Matter of fact, and I was going to say, did you see where Gene Stapleton passed away late last evening?
As in Edith Bunker?
That is correct. 90 years old from All in the Family.
Wow. Okay, I thought she had already left us.
Well, I had to double check. Yep, I just got hoodwinked. Because you admitted something, I'll admit something. I've been having an eye roll at people that continue to share the Bob Denver passes away at the age of 67, which has happened for over a decade. I always try to tell people, hey, that's been a decade. You're making people freak out. Well, no, of course it's kind of sad if you're that big a fan and you didn't know he'd been gone for 10 years. How big a fan are you? But I saw several late last night and this morning about Jean Stapleton, and to my knowledge, I did not realize she already passed away in 2013. So, my apologies.
One of my favorite ones from last year was the one where you had to read it in order to get it. Somebody had been on a fake news story had been posted. Notice I prefaced this with Betty White, DYES, quietly in her home. And I'm sitting back going, people, can you not catch this? Everybody was like, oh my God, we lost Betty. Oh my God, she passed away. I said, no. DYES, not DIES, kids. God love the internet.
Yeah.
A great source of information and also a great source of stupidity.
Well, you know what? I wanted to throw that on you because I'm not sure I'll ever bring this up again on the program. But you want to talk about spelling, one letter making a difference. 8th grade year, doing a book report. Yes, kids, during those times we had to go to this thing called the library with paperback and hardback books to do research. There was no Wikipedia. There was microfiche. And to do a book report, I remember checking out a book called Omens, like the horror movie The Omen, O-M-E-N, Omen's Book of World Records. And I got it, and it had, back then, all these old books would have, masking tape or scotch tape or things to hold the spine together where the book had become, rattered and tattered over the years. And so I'm at home doing this, and I'm looking at the book, and I said, oh, my God, there's nothing in here I need. I take it back to the library and second to get something else. She said, well, here's your first problem. That tape is covering the letter W. This is Women's Book of World Records.
Oh, my God.
I felt like the biggest dumbass on God's green earth.
That is funny. That is funny. Oh, Lord. But so, shifting back.
I've got a buddy from high school, by the way. Whenever we meet about once or twice a year to just have a few beers, he'll just bring up, so, Omen's Book of World Records. I'm like, you ever going to let that one go?
Nope. Nope. Not going to happen. But I still, like I say, and just still getting over a little bit of the shock from what you were telling me a minute ago. So I will go ahead and say this one. And I feel like I can speak for all of us here on the Beyond Ringside family of shows. But for me in particular, as a longtime racing fan, longtime NASCAR fan, longtime MRN fan, and a huge fan of Barney, he and of himself, they pinned the title, The Voice of NASCAR, which of course what a lot of people have as the slogan for the MRN, Motor Racing Network. But Barney's voice just synonymous for so many years with auto racing and NASCAR. It's just, that one just sent me reeling. So to his family and inner circle of friends from the heart, my heartfelt prayers, best wishes for peace in your heart and your spirit and during this time, because I know it's a huge loss. So once again, from me and from the BR family of shows to the family of Barney, it's just our very best and our heartfelt wishes for just a moment of peace to get past everything. Sorry about that.
No problem. I'm right there with you. Like I said, I can't think of the number of times where if I wasn't watching the race at home or at a friend's house, and I'm on the road on the commute, how many times you hear Barney Hall, MRN Radio, let's go down to Winston Kelly, turn 3.
Yeah.
I've heard that for over 35 years. I mean, it's crazy.
Wow. And like I said, I'm not discounting the loss of Cantner in any specific realm whatsoever. And kind of like when I got the news that we had lost Iron Mike Sharp in the world of professional wrestling about a week or so ago, legitimately speaking, I'm sitting back going, wow. Because how many times had we seen Iron Mike Sharp on WWF television throughout the course of the years. And it's like, of course, the legendary question, how long does it take for a wrist injury to heal?
That, and for those in the business that want a good laugh, how long does it take you to really get that clean?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. There's some people out there that really got to ask that question about. It's like, how many trips to rehab are we really going to take?
But, you bring that up on Iron Mike Sharp. That was during an era, of course, with enhancement talent, jobbers, if you will. I just remember that name, Iron Mike Sharp, standing out. I don't know if it was because in a couple of years later, Mike Tyson, with that same moniker, that nickname Iron Mike, he stood up. But, I mean, he was an enhancement talent, a jobber that really got a lot of offense, or a guy that looked good, and kind of like a Barry Horowitz, that, always thought might score the upset, but he did not. But he's definitely one of those. I mean, I thought it was crazy. He got mainstream coverage.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here thinking, that made me think. I was like, okay, out of enhancement talent and jobbers, I mean, no disrespect to certain people, but I mean, like Barry O, John K9, Barry Horowitz. I was like, are any of these, maybe Horowitz, because he did have a couple pay-per-view shots with the late Chris Candido as Skip, but I was like, any of these others that do pass on, is that going to be mainstream coverage? But it shows you how strong, again, that era was, that Iron Mike Sharp's death even got national news coverage.
Case point scenario, Johnny Rods, who went on to have a very well-respected training school. S.D. Jones from Antigua in the West Indies. Remember that intro very well, Howard Finkel. And then, of course, it's no different down here in the southeastern U.S. Let's go ahead and go back for it, kids, because you knew I'd bring it up if we're starting to talk enhancement talent. Lee Peak, longtime friend, worked with him for a number of years, close friend, and also did enhancement talent work. Bill Tabb, Randy, oh God, Randy Barber, Kent Glover, Paul Garner. God, and I went on to become a rock and roll. Thank you, rock and roll RPM. That's who I was trying to think of. And of course, I'll go ahead and say it. I'm going to, and you can go ahead and cringe now, just like I do, even though he's a good friend of both of ours. Mike Jackson.
Sure, and I'll say one of my favorites, both watching at the time and also just knowing him personally. Because what a great guy he is. And he spoke of the training school, and it brought up the name to me. George South.
Yes. And let's not forget Chick Donovan. Let's not forget about the Mulkey brothers. If Mulkey Mania was running wild for a while there.
Well, and think of the way that Sean Waltman came into the World Wrestling Federation. It was as a per se jobber, just known as the Kid, on a live episode of Monday Night Raw, and scored a monumental upset on Razor Ramon. And I was like, they made that guy in one night.
And this is the part that I'm going to go ahead and let it rip for a hot second. Because we, as a culture, a lot of people want to use the word jobber or enhancement talent as a derogatory term to denigrate what an individual has done inside the ring, and you are not hearing that from either one of us, because I've worked as enhancement talent before. I've done due diligence to the JOB. Look, I'll sit back and say I appreciate that nice little T-shirt. Pin me, pay me.
Yeah, okay, I got to pause real quick on that, because when you said the JOB, that reminded me of the Job Squad with Al Snow. Was that right?
Yeah.
And Jerry Lawler with that classic line where Al Snow was saying he didn't care if he won or lost. Lawler's face, to the effect, paraphrasing here, but he said, well, I know this, and he was talking about, this was like an episode of WWF Superstars with the pay-per-view the next night. He said, I know this, if you do the JOB on the PPV one more time, you're going to be out of a JOB.
And that was the part that really just tickled me over the years, because when working some shows, and it's like I said, I've had so many different friends in our circle, or in the circle, back from the mid-'80s all the way through the '90s, and it's like, okay, fine, so what? We go pull a show, and lo and behold, the case point scenario is, Man, I saw you get your ass kicked on TBS last week, or I saw you get your butt kicked on Channel 6 for Southeastern Channel Championship Wrestling, or out of Chattanooga. It's like, and there's a difference. Do you know how to do your job? Guess what? I know how to do mine.
Mm-hmm. They like me doing my job like this.
Exactly. And the fact of the matter stands, and I have a feeling, I'm probably going to get lambasted for not making the other 6 references. Somebody's online. Tell you what, do me a favor. I know that you've got to cut short because I know you've got the I know you got Peach State Wrestling Alliance tonight, and I've got GCW a little bit later. Is one more segment good with you?
Absolutely.
Tell you what, hang tight for a second, folks. We're going to go to a very brief top of the hour break. We will be right back on the Shooters Gallery right after this.
This is the voice of excellence at Excellent Professional Wrestling at Napa Toolman, Tim Taylor. Usually I'm locked into Excellent Professional Wrestling, but now you're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
The To Be Determined show live Wednesday nights, 9 Central Standard Time. Join myself, the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, the Grand Design, Clyde Braddock, and the Magic City Monroe, Fast Eddie Lane, as we take you to the edge of uncensored. Yes, we go uncensored, so make sure you have your earmuffs. Ask your parents, for those of you that are a little young, maybe under 18, but make sure if you have any heart conditions or any mental defects, please listen, because they may take effect right here live every Wednesday night, 9 Central Standard Time. Beyond Ringside Radio Network, beyondringside.com.
The board is war, and you are locked into Beyond Ringside.
Sunday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern here on BeyondRingside.com. Join us for the Midnight Black Mass. Myself, the Reverend Dan Wilson, brings you the dark gospel of professional wrestling, uncensored, unedited, uncut, and not for the faint of heart. You can find out more about us at youtube.com/pottyhumor or subscribe at Potty Humor on iTunes and Stitcher today.
I'm addictive. I'm expensive. I'm Byron Wilkine. And ladies, Big Daddy Yum Yum is locked in to Beyond Ringside.
The Mad Dog's House of Pain, the only nationally licensed pro wrestling school in the state of Alabama. Mad Dog Dan Sawyer, trained by the Junkyard Dog, will be your trainer. You want to be a professional wrestling superstar? Learn from GCW's own Mad Dog's House of Pain. With over 22 years experience, learn from the Mad Dog's House of Pain. 205-567-6482. Start your career today. Call 205-567-6482.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bill Behrens, and you're watching, you're listening, you're experiencing Beyond Ringside, and you are a better person for it. Trust me.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
This is Awesome Austin Creed, the smartest man in this industry called pro wrestling, the valedictorian of this business. You are locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Wanted to go over a couple more things in the Rumble, too.
Okay.
We do all it.
1 minute after the top of the hour. Like I said, a very short top of the hour break knowing us. Welcome back in. Shooters Gallery live on this 30th day of January. Fast Eddie Lane live from Studio 1. Behind the announcer's table, live from the Peach State in the promoter's office. Behind the promoter's desk is what I was trying to say. Shane Knowles, what's up?
I was going to say cowering behind the promoter's desk, apparently.
There's a hidden joke in there, but I already know that it was funny to begin with, so I may not need to know the punchline. And ladies and gentlemen, being joined, he is the host of the To Be Determined show, live Wednesday nights, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 Central of Beyond Ringside Radio Network, in the manager's corner, the Wicked Nemesis. What's up, brother?
How's everyone doing this lovely Saturday morning? Well, if you're catching us live. If not, mazel tov to everyone catching this evening, this cold and dreary, or let's insert hot and warm evening, wherever you may be. On with two great gentlemen. I want to say, first of all, I hope you had a birthday, Eddie.
It has been a great birthday week, and I'm looking forward to keeping the party going tonight.
And Mr. Knowles, one thing we know about you is you will not cower to anything, especially behind a desk. Ask Tommy too much and Simon Sermon that.
I said behind the desk. I said behind the desk, not under the desk, dude. God.
Fins up.
Jimmy Buffett, fins up. There you go.
Fins up, baby.
I heard you making a reference as we were coming back in for the break that there were a couple more things you wanted to hit on the Rumble. So if you would, I'll tell you what, I'm turning the floor in your direction.
Sure thing. Got the chamber loaded here, and with Wick on board, more voices the merrier. The one thing, and I'll try to keep it brief, we all know AJ Styles debuts with the WWE this past weekend at the Royal Rumble. Long rumored, is he or isn't he? Is it going to be the whole Bullet Club or not? All we know is AJ's in. He's went on to wrestle at Raw as well as SmackDown. But the thing that got me is you heard all the whispers of, well, this guy wrestled for TNA for a decade. He's wrestled for Ring of Honor, IWGP. That WWE audience is not going to know him. And I furrowed my brow like someone just took a dump in church. I'm like, are you kidding me? I was like, yeah, there's still a small percentage of people that the WWE is the only wrestling they know. I said, but this is 2016 now. And I said, you wait and see. But even I was blown away by that reaction. When he came out, the chanting of his name, and even after he was eliminated, after going right at a half hour impressively in the Rumble, you still heard his name chanted. And I said, don't tell me they don't know who the hell he is. And they've got gold on their hands if they book it properly. So I'll ask you guys, were you shocked that it was that strong Sunday evening, the reaction for one AJ Styles?
Wick, you're up.
Hold on. Let me unmute the microphone real quick. I did not see the Royal Rumble, but I did see the reaction because I think my Twitter, my Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest all froze. I think I actually do know what AJ Styles likes on his sugar cookies now. With that being said, here's my key factor to that. I watched his entrance and everything. JBL. Now, I was talking to Ryan Bishop about this. We know how JBL is. We've had the pleasure and honor to actually hang out with JBL. JBL is JBL, inside and outside the ring. JBL sold this the best to me for two facts that he threw out. The fact that AJ Styles was a former IWGP heavyweight champion, world heavyweight champion, and the fact that he acknowledged him being an 18-year veteran. They didn't do that with Kevin Steen. The point is, JBL could have very easily crapped on this. JBL could have been like, who is this guy? Or, whatever he done, crapped in his bag, made him do 1,000 Hindu squats out in the lobby. But JBL put this over tremendously. And the reaction that he got, the reaction that AJ Styles got, was exactly what I think a lot of us, especially it being in Orlando, would have expected. I don't think WWE, and I think that's the telltale sign, if how much or if all of the Bullet Club get signed to WWE, that reaction lets you know. They know who he is. The Bullet Club is recognized. I also heard that Finn Balor had started working heel, and they may be building the foundation for that. But the fact that JBL put it over on a pay-per-view the way he did, totally sold it.
I'm in 100% accord on this one due to the fact that if anybody would normally be the one to crap all over a situation or a debut or a storyline or an angle or a gimmick, it would be John Bradshaw Layfield. And JC Layfield has a very weird track record when it comes to doing the right thing at the right time for the right reason. There are times when he is 100% on it, and there are times when it's like Mabo does the best impression. Michael, and it's like funny. But on this one, the minute that he came out, because I'm waiting, I'm watching. The minute that boom, the arms get thrown out, the crowd response is there. How is the announce team going to handle this? You know, if oh God, his name just left my brain. Mauro Ranallo, thank you. Had been on point for commentary in the one chair, he would have been real quick to bestow the virtues of AJ within the parameters laid down by Vince. You know they're not going to mention Impact, but you can't ignore time served. It's kind of like over the last couple of years in a Major League Baseball game. You'll see the batter come up to the plate. 18 years MLB service. Sitting back going, wow, are we bucking for the promotion here? Going to go from batter to in-box wood technician. There you go. I'll come up with a better one later. It's ad lib. But
I think it was a little different also whenever there was the NWA associated with TNA. I think especially with the roots that it has in the WWE, that I think they would have definitely acknowledged that. But with it being TNA, you have to dance around that. And they, as you said, as you alluded to, they did a great job with that. But you can't tell me you can't act like something doesn't exist when they don't even mention Benoit, Jake the Snake Roberts, it's still kind of gloss over. Ravishing Rick Rude, never spoken about. And
Hulk Hogan now.
Least we not forget Captain Charisma, Christian. They acted like he was never gone. Oh yeah, he was just back.
Yeah, especially considering
and I do take umbrage with something. The number one free agent in professional wrestling is not AJ Styles. I'm sorry to tell you, it's the reflection of perfection, Tyson Dean. Let's just throw that out there. I just want to get that out real quick.
By the way, about the rest of the Bullet Club, when Anderson and Gallows make their debut, I will be extraordinarily happy because that will be vindication for Doc Gallows. I felt that he should have never left the WWE to begin with. So I'm definitely a proponent of him and Anderson, him and Machine Gun Carl Anderson being signed. If everything works out and when the other contracts run out, the new stuff can kick in and they can make an appearance, even if it's on NXT and an occasional shot at the roster as time goes by. If they do put the Bullet Club, the Balor Club together full scale, yeah, I'll be happy with that. Do I wish that there was a way that things would have worked out differently for the Jackson brothers? Sure. Do I wish Tama Tonga would have been signed? Yes. Do I wish Chase Owens would have been signed? Yes. Need I say more? Not really on that one. Shane, go ahead.
Eddie, I do want to throw out there, Paul Lee, you can start carrying my bags now when Gallows gets signed.
I didn't think you'd want him anywhere near your bags.
I'll have to wipe my ass, too.
Well, that's not exactly a smooth transition for me, but speaking of what you said about AJ, we know CM Punk is not one that is in favor of the company, so I'm betting on this if and when Gallows is called to the main roster, there'll be no mention whatsoever of his previous time, I would say, at least as with CM Punk. Now, if they mention Festus or whatnot. But can you see that? I mean, with the heat Vince seemed to have with Punk on the way out, that's probably going to be not even touched on whatsoever.
I think they might make a reference to the Straight Edge Society, but WWE is really great about they'll keep certain things kayfabed. It doesn't matter. And I'm pretty sure Vince was excreting a gold brick Monday night when Dwayne came out and said, "We're going off the script." And went down to have the nice little interview. Went down to talk to the four guys who were dressed as Taker and Rock and He Who Shall Not Be Named version 2.0. Yeah, really. You had Hogan and Savage and Rock and Stone Cold. And it's like, I'm sitting back going, thank you. Because for him to walk down to that front row and get right with those guys, mic in hand, and the minute that it's Dwayne. So you've got to sit back and say, it's going to happen. Something is, and when he says we're going off the script, Vince probably laid a 24-karat gold brick out of his rectum.
Well, he needs to pay me, Dwayne. Dwayne, quit stealing my gimmick. Makes me apologizing to Simon Thurman. That's a joke for Shane Knowles. That joke was straight on the nose. That was so meta. So meta. But anyways, but here's the thing, though. He can do that. The Rock can do that. The Rock can do that. The Rock can go out and talking about the straight edge society. WWE is great doing exactly what Marvel does. They are fantastic for-ing. I think I may have just created a word. Or mutating, because the mutants, building up the Inhumans, the straight edge society and CM Punk. You have to mention the fact that he was here, but they're not going to mention CM Punk. You can hang that up. It might as well be Reed Richards building universes off with Sue Storm and Valeria and Franklin Richards. Like, we're going to keep Johnny. We're going to keep you guys go away until we gain the rights back to you. Until CM Punk comes back, everything associated with him is going to be put off in an alternate universe. They're going to just go off and do your thing. Do your thing. Yes, he's when he wins a UFC title, when he wins a UFC title, they may be quick. Then
I think right now the priority is for CM Punk Phil Brooks to actually win a UFC match, much less a title.
Come on, it's UFC's a work. He'll win a title. Yes, UFC's a work. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness, did I just break the news?
I was going to say, you hear that, kiddos? That sound you hear is the can of worms not opening, spilling out all over the Beyond Ringside studio.
Oh, no, that's not a can of worms. That's a bucket.
We know that. We know this.
We know it's a work.
CW are more real than what goes on at UFC. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Why do you think Jose Aldo is going to be passed over for the immediate title rematch that should be taking place? Why is Conor McGregor dropping weight to go chase after another belt when he's got a contender, even though it was a 14-second match, so to speak? By the same token, you've got a former champion that held onto that title for how long, and that champion is not being granted a rematch because you know it would still be one of the biggest draws in box office history? No. So when does... Okay, look, in a real-world scenario, when does the champion call the shots over the boss? Wick?
That doesn't happen. Don King said it best. There's no way that you can leave that amount of money in the hands of two men. There are too many people that get too much money out of that pot. There's no way. I'm sorry to tell everyone this. When there is that amount of money involved, that is involved in UFC. UFC right now is what the middleweight in the 80s for boxing and the heavyweight division in the late 80s, early 90s, and middle 90s for boxing was. It is a money machine. UFC is printing their own money. There's no way they're going to allow all of that money to go through just two guys, to be decided by two guys. It's not in the works, guys. I'm sorry. It's just not. There's too many politics involved. And if you don't, you go ask Roy Jones Jr. about the 1988 Olympics. And tell him to pick up his silver. I will take it for him.
Shane, your thoughts, comments?
Oh, when he brought up Roy Jones Jr., beautifully done, sir. Nicely. I just wanted to go back and transition one more thing to the Rumble. I thought for all of those complaining, to me, with the injury situation and the depth, no John Cena, no Randy Orton, no Seth Rollins, no Cesaro, I thought this was one of the most beautifully booked Rumbles overall in several years. I mean, just the way they did so many things with what they had to work with, taking into consideration.
I will agree 100%. Because from start to finish, and look, when you put Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens as your kickoff match for the main show itself, one, I love the message that sends in principle to the locker room. If these two guys can go first, anybody can go first. Number two, top this.
Yeah. Hold on. What are you talking about? If these guys can go first, anybody can go first. Will you please elaborate on that, sir?
Easy. Because you have individuals who work in the world of professional wrestling and sports entertainment, much less martial arts, mixed martial arts and boxing, who feel that they are the main event. They feel that they should never have to open a show. They feel like there's that connotation of jerking the curtain means you're getting my match out of the way. Whereas in reality, those of us who have an IQ above dried wallpaper paste understand the concept that for any promoter, you want to put your best foot forward. In business, you want to start strong and build from there. You never want to start weak to get something out of the way. If nothing else, you put it right after the intermission where you know people are going to be scattered for a few minutes and then build back into the main event. So
yeah, exactly. But the thing about it is a lot of people want to put a fast-paced match up front. What if you don't have a fast-paced type of event booked?
Easy.
Your opening match is the starting point.
Yes.
For your show. It sets precedence for your entire show.
Right.
People forget that. That's one of those things that separates wrestlers from workers, because people decide that, as you were talking about, they don't want to put their egos aside. Well, I'm not going to be opening match. Really? You look at what several promotions do in this area being Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, and Florida. Everybody that has made money on the independent scene, you look around them, you look around that whole area. Every one of them have started off and set pace for an event. And let's just throw out some names. Simon Sermon, Tommy Too Much, AJ Steele, Tyson Dean,
Jimmy Rave,
Mad Dog Dan Sawyer, Clyde Braddock, Orion Bishop, Damon Harrison, a.k.a. Damon Taz, Johnny Swinger, Jimmy Rave, Murder One. Oh, I'm sorry. All these guys do that. You're setting it up for the entire event. That's why you check your egos at the door. We've got divas. I'm a huge diva. I'm just professional wrestling today. But you have to check your egos at the door, because it's not just about you. It's about building everything. It's about making money. It's about going out and having theater of the mind. People forget that. Having Ambrose and Owens on is fantastic, because you set the precedence for what's about to come. Because in that main event, you have all those guys that made names for themselves away from WWE in the spots. You see that they're building to the future. To me, that's what was great about this, is the fact there was so much young talent. And for anybody that was complaining, well, such and such wasn't there, such and such there. Well, I remember at one point when Daniel Bryan and CM Punk was doing this and doing that, people, I can't believe they're doing this, and Cena isn't here, and Brock's doing this. Now, look, this is building towards the future. This is like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The first was geared towards kids that are getting into Nickelodeon cartoons today. Part 2 is going to be geared towards people Shane Knowles and my age, because we grew up on the cartoon. That's why you're going to have Krang. That's why you're going to have Bebop. That's why you're going to have Rocksteady. Guess what it's called? It's called progression. It's called evolution. As I say, there's several people, Dylan Cook and America Strong, two people that I point at, that keep getting better each match, keep learning a little bit more. That's all you can ask of, is progression. And WWE is doing. They are progressing. They are setting the foundation in the future for their company, setting up having Ambrose and Owens as your opening match. Having AJ Styles come out, what was he, 30 come out?
30 came out.
Third? Okay, see? There you go. You set precedent, and then give him 30 minutes. That is professional wrestling. To me, you know what that smells like? Does it smell like sports entertainment? It smells like professional wrestling.
Smells like money. Smells like money. And Shane, I'm back. Huh?
Just singing. I'm sorry, singing Pink Floyd. Go ahead.
There you go. Love that song too. God. Shane, I'm going to toss in your way in 1 second, but I'm going to go and lay this one out there. The fact of the matter is, I accused WWE on more than one occasion of not building for the future, about not doing a great job of building top-tier talent. Look, I will sit back and say this. Kevin Owens has proven the fact that he is there. Dean Ambrose has proven the fact that he is there. Roman Reigns, once again, the hunt. He is better in the role of the hunter instead of the role of the hunted. That is why that belt came off him and went on Triple H this past Sunday at the Royal Rumble. For those who have a hard time with the psychology on that, go back and read. It's easy. There is a logical progression. There is a way things are done. It doesn't matter if it's wrestling, mixed martial arts, boxing, football, basketball. You have people who are better in the role of the pursuer, i.e. Buford T. Justice, than they are in the role of the pursuee, i.e. Bandit Bo Darvel. And there's your Smokey the Bandit reference for the day. Shane, your direction, sir.
I couldn't help but think when you guys were discussing about check your egos at the door and don't consider yourself a curtain jerker going first. 2 shows ago at Peach State, December 26th, opened the show with Jimmy Rave and Sal Renaro for the Heritage title opened. And the thing is, the old saying, you don't do a ref bump in the opening match. We did. Run-ins are safe for the main event. There were 3 in the opening match. But talk about setting a tone, a chaotic pace of Jesus, because Sal and Jimmy tear the house down for 18 to 20 minutes duration of the match. All that goes on. The double pin with the referees, the titles held up. Now you set the tone for anything and everything can happen. If we could actually see the advertised main event on the poster, open an event.
Exactly.
But also, Shane, you also set this up months before by getting rid of taking yourself away as commissioner. And as you said, letting the inmates run the asylum. So that is what was genius about it, because you set it up months ago to lead to that very moment. So, and I don't know how, I know this is Shooter's Gallery, but dude, that's a testament to Rick Michaels too.
Oh, well, thank you very much. That's it parlays into there. Yeah, when we had the each referee on one side of the competitors counting the 3 count off the double suplex. One referee raises Renaro's hand, one raises Ray's hand. There's no commissioner to come down, and whether to make things right, there was nobody to extend 5 more minutes, and the crowd was left in an utter state of confusion. That's something we couldn't get away with at any time in Peach State history because there was no living, breathing voice of authority.
Mm-hmm. And folks, for those of you listening who have heard this phrase before, you are going to hear this phrase again. It's called the epitome of a slow burn build. Anybody can rush and go flying by the seat of your pants. And we all do that. In every sport, every business, we do it every once in a while. But when you can put everything in place and it escalates, yes, let's use those 2 words. I'm bringing them back, Wick. Natural progression, and let it build organically.
Yeah, but you have to have faith in fans that they're going to get it. Shane has faith in his fans that he's going to get it.
Some do, some don't.
No.
Some do, some don't. Some do, some don't.
You are right about that. But Mad Dog and Shane, the reason why they are so successful in Georgia and Alabama, respectively, is because they're able to go and they think of their fans having a higher IQ. They don't go in the fans like, hi, you guys are idiots. Now enjoy the program. You go in, you say, you guys are in on it. You know that Wicked Nemesis is not Wicked Nemesis' real name. You know Enoch Tessarian is not his real name, but you don't care because you're going to buy it. You know that the guy does not wear a mohawk all the time, but still you're going to do it. You know that Tyson Dean has a child. We know this. We know that everything that's going on in Tyson Dean's life. We know that AJ Steele is a clown. Say that AJ Steele's face. We know that Clyde Braddock throws around those jackhammers, 80-pound jackhammers a day. You also know that Clyde Braddock is one of the funniest guys out there. You don't do that. You play up the persona, but you don't make the fans idiots. You're not like, what are you talking about? Don't look at the man behind the curtain. No, it's like, look, we all know this is entertainment, but we wrestle here. And you have faith in your fans. Shane had faith in his fans that they would be able to follow this storyline, because what Shane and Rick are doing is, guess what? Making bigger crowds. That's what Mad Dog does. Angie had to explain something to somebody that missed the last. They're like, oh my God, we weren't able to be here at the last event. What happened? So Angie had to fill in an entire family on what happened last event. That happens at Peach State because more people come there like, oh my God, I missed something. What did I miss? They want to know. That is what professional wrestling is all about. Natural progression.
And I have to do it like this because I know Shane is pushed for time, so let's go ahead and shift gears if I can, because we're talking about live events, and we're talking about live events tonight. Shane, I'll turn the floor over to you, sir, because tonight in Carrollton, Georgia, at the historic VFW Fairgrounds, Peach State Wrestling Alliance, ready to rock the walls. Go for it.
Oh, man, coming off a very good event to start the year 2016 back on January 16th. As Wicked spoke of, the crowds have been up for Peach State. It's about mid-October compared to what we were doing. And I think that's a testament to fans really buying into both heels and baby faces as well as what's going on with the Heritage title situation with no commissioner on board, Bill Behrens has stepped in, and we'll have an announcement this evening regarding the vacated PWA Heritage title. That's never happened in 7.5 years in the company's history. So I know a lot of people were shocked January 16th to see Bill Behrens representing the Georgia Athletic Commission, and Wick spoke about fans saying, I don't want to miss something. I literally saw this on the monitor. Fans going on their phones and looking up Bill Behrens on Wikipedia, finding out his history with WCW or TNA and WWE, to find out this guy was legit. Because the reason I could tell is when we zeroed in on it, you could see their faces saying, Bill Behrens, you sitting and mouthing the words like, dude, he's for real. So I thought that was a nice touch, just for me personally, getting to watch that. But, yeah, an announcement on the Heritage title situation this evening. And then a main event, Tyson Dean and AJ Steele with Calm Like a Bomb Pandora in their corner versus Tommy Too Much and Simon Sermon with the already mentioned America Strong in their corner. There's probably a fuse about 1/4 of an inch long, and it's ready to be lit and go off this with that tag team encounter. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Ever. Saying this may be the greatest tag team match of 2016.
Well, thank you. I'll let you guys in on a little scoop. That match, from what I've heard, may very well open the event this evening.
And therein lies the funny part, because that is going to be a strong open if it does. Now, because, God, my brain just went in 93 different directions.
Me too.
Continue, Shane.
Go ahead, Eddie. I'm sorry.
No, because I was actually going to bring up a match that has my attention more than anything else, because, of course, I'm not to mention, you've got 2 great tag team matches already lined up for tonight. Hashtag trending now, Ace Haven and Charles Zanders, a team that is making monumental strides in the world of pro wrestling. These kids are young. They are energetic. It is hard to believe that Ace Haven has been around as long as he has, but the thing about it is, I've watched the progression of Ace Haven. I've also watched Zanders. This kid is coming on like gangbusters, and they're going to have their hands full tonight in 2 members of the GAG, the Get Along Gang, in CB Suave and Marco Polo, 2 names that are very, very prominent in the world of professional wrestling in not only Georgia, but around the Southeast as well. Shane?
Yeah, trending now, hashtag trending now. Such a great job at the PWA Tag Team Title Tournament, winning their opening round match versus the Aries brothers, going to a 15-minute time limit draw with Beautiful Ball Besties, then coming up just a tad short in what turned into a triple threat finale with Tyson Dean, AJ Steele, the Besties, and themselves. And now you've got the Get Along Gang and CB Suave and Marco, who said, hey, there's 8 teams in this tag team title tournament. How the hell could you not have us in here competing for the titles? And I'll just let it be known, I'm a big CB Suave guy. I think this guy's got the look. I think he's got a little bit of that swagger, and his in-ring cannot be questioned. So this is the first time I will have the opportunity to see he and Marco at a Peach State event together. So has all the elements for a good tag team match.
Also, this is one that's actually I want the DVD, because I wish I could be there live in order to help call the action on this one. But Fried Eddie versus Sal Renaro, I'm just gonna go and sit back and say that is gonna be a huge candidate for Don't Blink match of the night, Shane.
Yeah, I saw these two. I had the opportunity to see these two wrestle for WrestleMerica in Barnesville, Georgia, and just like you alluded to, Eddie, it was nothing short of tearing the house down. Fried Eddie had the crowd rocking. Sal Renaro, slow, methodical, change of pace. But man, when they cranked it into high gear, it was a beauty to see.
And you've got 2 others that we haven't mentioned yet, Iceberg and Pain, which is, look, I'm going to go ahead and have the Georgia EMA move their location as far away from Carrollton as possible, because when Iceberg and Pain start laying in haymakers, it's going to register on the seismograph, sir.
Yeah, and the front row seats have been pushed an additional 15 feet away from the ring. Just to make no joke, that's a shoot. Because we all know how Iceberg's temper can get. If there's not a cage around him, he has the tendency for the action to spill outside the ring. And my gosh, I mean, Pain and Iceberg, 2 behemoths in the ring, and a guy in Pain that can match Iceberg in stature, strength, pound for pound. Curious to see how that one goes. And then the final match listed on the card, this one may be worth the DVD itself, and I know I'm going to get Wicked's ears to perk up on this one. The savior of pro wrestling, Jimmy Rave, takes on the revelation Shane Marks in singles action this evening. I go ahead, sir.
He said he hates
you. I hate you. You have Tyson Dean and AJ once again. And you have, oh my God, didn't you have Shane Marks and Jimmy Rave? Man, screw you, take my money. That is amazing.
Well, I said it on social media earlier in the week. I think it's early. It's, the next to last day of the first month of the year, but I think Jimmy Rave and Shane Marks have potential to set the bar very high for pro wrestling in the state of Georgia for 2016.
Shane, you already won 2016 Georgia Wrestling Promotion of the Year. Stop!
Well, not resting on our laurels, good sir.
When's the next event? Because, obviously, we'll talk,
February 20th, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry?
You said the next event, February 20th.
Look, for those that are going to be at GCW, February 20th, we will all load up. You can all load up. We'll all go together. And we'll all hang out with Shane backstage. And you can see our process of Shane getting ready for an event. You owe it to yourself to, if you're not at DCW or at Peach State, I do not want to hear you complain about anything on social media. Wrestling's dead. There's no wrestling. They never do anything. If I hear that, I will come to your house and I will punch your baby in the face. I will bring back the most wicked heel wickedness you've ever seen. You will never be able to book me babyface again.
Perk.
Do not complain. Do not complain about wrestling being dead, you pieces of trash, if you're not at GCW for that fatal four-way tonight, and if you're not at Peach State for Jimmy Rave and Shane Marks, you're dead to me. Dead. D-E-A-D. Dead. You're as dead as Glenn in The Walking Dead. Spoiler alert.
I was going to say, to touch on what Wick was saying, I put this on social media earlier this week, too, and GCW is a promotion I include wholeheartedly in this. That it's an exciting time to be a pro wrestling fan. Just paraphrasing what I typed here. It's a great time to be a pro wrestling fan. There's a lot of great content being produced by a plethora of promotions, both national, regional. Get out and check it out for yourself, because I'm just like Whit. There's so many people. It's like, man, wrestling this, it ain't gonna be like it was during the Attitude Era. I have one very simple question for them. When's the last time you watched? Oh God, it's probably been 7 or 8 years. And that's what I want to tell them, as mild mannered as I am. Shut the hell up. If you haven't watched in 7 or 8 years, do you really think you justify having an opinion on what's going on in present day? Turn on the tube. Go to a live event. GCW, there's no excuses. Like Wick said, Peach State, GCW tonight. There is no college football on the docket. There is no NFL postseason football, the Pro Bowl tomorrow night. There's nothing going on today that should prevent you from getting out and checking out one or two. If you want to catch half of one event and get the other, there's an hour time difference. Go ahead. You can do it. I-20 is a straight shot. From checking out 2 really good promotions this evening, guys that are doing it the right way, and they're drawing crowds because of that, folks. We all know crowds don't show up where pro wrestling is not, crowds do not show up consistently where pro wrestling is not being presented in a good manner. GCW does it, PWA does it. They have strong, consistent crowds because of that.
And let me go ahead and shift over, because I'm going to echo those sentiments up one side down the other. And it's kind of like the people that still bitch and whine about Impact. And it's like, when's the last time you watched it? 2 years ago, I stopped watching when Hulk Hogan ruined it. So you haven't seen what the talent's been doing this week, last week, or the week before. You haven't watched them since they've come over to Pop TV. Then you got no right to complain. You can complain about what happened then, but you have no right to complain about what's happening now. Yes, I'll argue semantics with you on the sentence structure. Thanks for playing. Don't mess with an English major. Actually, I was an English.
You're so right, Eddie. I was just going to say, because the job they've been doing with turning EC3, Ethan Carter, the third babyface, has been magnificent.
I think it's been beautiful. And for those who actually heard me, those who have heard the replay of Corner to Corner, or actually heard comments that I made earlier this week, I've had to eat words. my primary, and I'm going to make this short and sweet because I know because there's a couple of things I really want to hit, especially tonight, Pell City. I've made this comment on more than one occasion when a company would try to push Matt Hardy to their forefront as far as being their flag bearer, their standard bearer, their primary champion. I've said he does not look like a champion. He does not come across like a champion. He doesn't carry himself like a champion. This past Tuesday on the televised episode of Impact on Pop TV, kids, Matt Hardy came out in a three-piece suit. Matt Hardy came out wearing a bright red button-down. He was wearing freshly what looked like shined shoes. He came out, he was shaved. His hair looked like it had product in it, and it was styled. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to eat my words because on this night, on that taping, on that episode, Matt Hardy looked like a world champion. You may now pick your jaws up off the ground, kids. Will this happen again? But he didn't look this way in WWE. He didn't look this way when Ring of Honor was riding that stallion. And up until this past week, he didn't look that way in TNA. This week, on this episode of Impact, with him, like I said, gray three-piece suit, bright red button down, top button unbuttoned, dress shoes, hair slicked back, he looked like a professional. He looked like a professional. He looked like a champion. So I will give that, folks, once again, for everybody who'd been sending me hate mail over the last few months. Why didn't you like me, Hardy? Why didn't you say anything about that, Hardy? Because he sucked. In-ring performance-wise, he's been good. But his overall presentation has been lacking. This week, didn't lack. Will it happen again? Don't know. Hope so. Because you want your flag bearer, you want your standard bearer to be a true representation of your company. And remember, not everybody can be Nick Bockwinkel. Not everybody can be Ric Flair. And yes, I'm not speaking of the Attitude Era. Yes, I know we went through Stone Cold Steve Austin and John Cena in jorts. Barf! But just remember, there's only one Stone Cold Steve Austin. And fortunately, there's still only one John Cena. Although last year he did step it up larger than life. And I give all the credit where credit is due. Cena had a good in-ring 2015 because of the U.S. Challenge. And I believe that he shut some people up. Oh, man, Cena's got the 5 moves of doom. Sorry, he released a 6th and 7th move in 2014 and started bringing out even more moves in 2015. So how many moves of doom does he have now? I think we're out of single digits. Shifting. Better notes. More happy times. Let's do this. For our friends in our home market, or excuse me, my home market and Wick's home market of Alabama, because I think Bohemian Grove has 9 locations to serve you now. Global Championship Wrestling makes the return to the Pell City Civic Center in Pell City, Alabama. Doors are going to open at 7 o'clock p.m. Bell time set for 7:30. Tickets are only $10 each. Let's run this down real quick. Ladies Challenge match. Veronica Fairchild, representing the Brotherhood, will be taking on Priscilla Kelly. Very special guest referee in the event will be the GCW Women's Champion, Calm Like a Bomb Pandora. This has got to be a powder keg waiting to explode. I believe Priscilla Kelly is in a very daunting position right now, but a very advantageous position, because I think she's in the perfect position to pick up a huge win over Veronica Fairchild. If Veronica's not careful and gets distracted by Pandora, this could be trouble. Don't blink. Trust me. One-on-one action. The Dream Chaser, Dylan Cook, taking on P-Dog, Mike Posey. This is going to be a unique contrast in styles. Dylan Cook, as you heard Wicked Nemesis probably begrudgingly say a little earlier, Dylan Cook has made strides like you would not believe. The kid's got a great technical base. He is working to continue to get even better. Amateur, yes, he's got the credentials. Building his resume as a pro. Taking on Mike Posey, P-Dog Mike Posey, let me tell you something right now. This guy can come at you from more directions than standing in the middle of a bumper car's derby. Plain and simple. This can happen.
He has no charisma.
Who?
Dylan Cook. Dylan Cook has no charisma. That's Dylan Cook's only problem. He has 0 charisma. He is missing the charisma gene.
I was waiting for you. That's why I stayed quiet. I was waiting for you to say that.
No, I love Dylan. Dylan's an awesome kid. I talk to Dylan every event. I'm right there with Dylan. It's me, Dylan, and I don't want to break kayfabe, so I'm going to say someone else that sits beside us, because that would totally, Dan would be pissed. He would be. We sit there and we talk every event. And Shane knows this. Eddie, you know this. I'm back and forth because I talk to all the young guys, and I give them crap and just razz them. But I'm doing it to make them better. Dylan Cook's amazing. He has no charisma. But he got knocked out and continued to match.
Yes, he did.
Some people, got a boo-boo. Take me out the match. Yeah, that kid, and that's on YouTube. Dylan Cook and Mudbone is on YouTube. You go watch that match. You see when that kid got knocked out and how he continued to fight and stand up until literally he could not.
Right. He saw stars. He didn't just see stars. He saw a constellation. That's all I'm going to say. Tag team challenge. Go ahead.
In P-Dog. Now he's about to see one of the biggest stars in P-Dog.
Yeah. Like I said, Posey, his agility, his flexibility, his in-ring knowledge. Mike Posey, I will use this phrase. A lot of people aren't a big fan of the P-Dog bit, but you know something? I love it. I really appreciate it, and I like it because it adds a whole new dimension to the character of Mike Posey. And so, therefore, P-Dog, rock on, if I can use that phrase and use those words in their contiguous order on that topic. So, I know P-Dog raps, and I just said rock on. So, folks, do the math. Do the math. It's a phrase by a vowel. There you go. Tag team challenge match tonight. The Brotherhood. Those who feel that they have earned the right to call themselves the unequivocal World Tag Team Champions. Guess what? Got to win the belts, boys. Plain and simple. I'm not the commish. I don't have to be the commish. Bullet Bob's the commish. He's already said you got to win the belt. You got to win them the old-fashioned way. You're not going to be presented anything. And they have sworn that they are going to take it out tonight on the feature attraction. Donnie Primetime III and Britt Jackson. Look, I will say this. DP3, Britt Jackson, charisma for days. And yes, Wick will say it too. They have that invisible touch. But tonight, that touch better not just be invisible. It better be... What?
Sorry, I was popping for the Phil Collins.
Yeah, I know. Okay. You better have more than just the invisible touch, and it better be faster than Dale Jr. at Turn 4 in Talladega. It better be fast. It better be hard. It better be furious. Thank you, Vin Diesel. And
there may be, Eddie, I don't know if there's a delay. I think there's kind of a slight delay, but I want to say the feature attraction. The gentleman on the other line, thank you, because you were the one that put this tag team together. Or, I'm sorry, or Rick Michaels, whoever. Pete Shea was the one who allowed these guys to shine. This is my favorite tag team. I'm sorry.
I'll do it.
I'm sorry. It's my second favorite tag team because, God almighty, Tyson Dean and AJ Steele, that is... My nipples get hard. I'm sorry, baby. But that is... I'm telling you, if he ever comes to GCW, he will be a merchant to death. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that. Spoiler! Spoiler! Spoiler alert.
Wait a minute, who? If Tyson comes?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Between you talking about
yes. Damn it! I'll be like, Tyson, I love you and I respect you, sir. You know that. Please be part of the JYD Memorial Tag Team Tournament. You and AJ Steele, and just please. But feature attraction seem to have that.
See, but I was waiting on that.
Can't help it.
It reaches in and grabs right holding your heart.
Coming up next on Beyond Ringside Laser Karaoke.
Oh!
Also, and I've got to do this. Let's run it rapid fire. We're all pressed for time this morning, and I know it. In the main event, ladies and gentlemen, we will determine a brand new GCW World Heavyweight Champion. It is on tonight. The Mystic from San Monique, one of the most dangerous men in the world of professional wrestling, and I mean that from the heart, and also one of the most underrated men in the world of pro wrestling after all these years still. I'm talking about the Mystic Mudbone versus the Bosnian War Child, the Complete Wrestling Machine, Spiral, versus the Grand Design, the final solution of professional wrestling, Clyde Braddock, and the man I just simply call an ever-loving, by God, tank, the real deal, AJ Steele. Wick, you've got a major interest in this. You are knee-deep, and you've already said you are going to be at ringside in support of the Merchants of Death. This is going to be a fatal four-way for the ages. Folks, I will tell you this. You have got four of the premier talents in wrestling in this ring at one time. It's a fatal four-way elimination. Anything can happen. There's speculation abounding I am a betting man to the nth degree. I have some very good friends and associates who will attest to this. You can't pay me to bet on this match because all four of these gentlemen, tremendous professionals. All four of these gentlemen make great champions. Two have been GCW heavyweight champion before. Two are climbing to get to that mountaintop. Which will it be? Don't wait for YouTube. Be there tonight. Pell City, 7:30 p.m. bell time. Shane, what time are doors opening tonight in Carrollton?
7 o'clock Eastern Time, bell time, 8 o'clock Eastern Time.
And how much are tickets, sir?
$10. First, all front row seating is sold out. All stage seating is sold out. There are some general admission seats still available.
And I'm going to do this. I would normally do this for an Easter egg, but I'm going to go ahead and do this right now because the person that I'm actually quietly aiming this toward is actually a good friend of mine. Considering the fact that most pro wrestling promotions charge $10 per ticket, and you're going to go ahead and make a parody of $5 wrestling, why would you turn around and call your company $10 wrestling when that makes absolutely no sense? I'm going to get a phone call for that. We lost Shane for a second. Oh, God. Tell me his phone didn't die. Folks, tell you what, hang tight. We're going to do I'm going to love myself for this one. Bear with me for one hot second. We're going to see what happened with Shane. We're going to be right back. We're going to put a wrap on this thing on this Saturday morning. Matter of fact, hold on. Wick, you're still with me, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool.
And if you don't let him talk about this main event tonight, he's going to take all of his clothes off. And our windows are open, Eddie. He's going Ric Flair over here.
Wick, go for it.
Dear God, if you talk about professional wrestling, most of the time it is about WWE. That's what comes to the general fan's mind. Then you have what is presented tonight at GCW. Jimmy Rave, Shane Marks. That is going to be an amazing, amazing main event. Spiral, AJ Steele, Clyde Braddock, and Mudbone. 3 of the 4 are merchants of death. You look at Clyde Braddock, you look at what he's done, you look at Spiral, what AJ and especially what Mudbone have done. AJ and Mudbone have been GCW heavyweight champions. Spiral and Clyde, if they get it, this will be their first taste of that championship gold. And it'll be very, very hard to keep it, but it'll be even harder to take it away from them. And then you have #1 contenders lined up right after that. And you tell me that Francisco Chiazzo is not going to be ready to step up to get whoever goes with this. Then you have the JYD Memorial Tag Team Tournament. This is everything that's culminating tonight in Pell City, Alabama. Professional wrestling is the name of the game. And while everyone else wants to talk about what they're doing and talks about, hey, I'm doing this, hey, I'm here, I'm there, you're about to see what professional wrestling is all about tonight in GCW, right there in that fatal 4-way. Not single elimination. Elimination.
Mm-hmm.
Total elimination right there. Final pinfall is Victor. Not Victor Smith. They're the victor in the match. Everybody's grill's too good for that. When you look at everything that's happening at GCW, when you look at everything that's happening in professional wrestling, the culmination of it is right there in Pell City tonight. Right at the Pell City Civic Center. Make no mistake about it. AJ Steele, Spiral, Clyde Braddock, and Mudbone. There will be a new champion. It will be crowned tonight. There's only one king. There's only one crown. So there's only one king that can stand on that mound. And that mound is the GCW Heavyweight Championship. Pell City, Alabama. And if you're not at Pell City, you better be in Carrollton, Georgia. Because let me tell you, AJ Steele, double shotting. AJ Steele will be tag teaming with a reflection of perfection. Tyson Dean against Tommy Too Much and Simon Sermon. formerly the exotic ones. Still some tension, still some division in there. The juggernaut that is AJ Styles, the ebony monolith. And from the cradle to the grave, the man that personifies perfection, the reflection of perfection, Tyson Dean. That is what it's like when worlds collide. That is what it's going to be like when you have a great tag team. That will be tag team match of the year. I can almost surely guarantee you that. You have Pell City, Alabama. You have Carrollton, Georgia. GCW and Peach State. Go out and support local independent wrestling because you're looking at the future. Just as you saw at the Royal Rumble, you're looking at the future of professional wrestling. Right here, right now. Independent and in action tonight.
I've got to say this. I have no fear, no trepidation, no advance remorse. I have a pure calling on this. Folks, tonight in 2 cities, and I will add a 3rd city to the mix. Springfield, Virginia. Tomorrow, January 31, Nova Pro Wrestling presents Stay Vicious at the Annandale Sports Center, 6728 Industrial Road in Springfield. Doors open 4:30, bell time 5 o'clock. The PWI Ultra J title match. Ethan Case, if he is still champion, versus Sanjay Dutt. The ace of the Mid-Atlantic, Eric Royal, takes on Gary J. Harlem and Lancelot, the Bravado brothers, take on the Rejects, Reed Bentley and John Wayne Murdoch. The different one, Chet Sterling, versus the champion of the 1%, Logan LaRue. True Talent, Bobby Shields taking on Brandon Day. Also appearing, Smith Garrett, Frankie Picard, Brandon Green, Innocent Isaiah. Love that name, by the way. The Reason. Love that name even more. Timmy Lou Retton, Dan O'Hare, Jeff Cannonball, Rayo, George Gatton, and more tomorrow in Springfield, Virginia. I've had a chance to do my homework on Nova Pro. I've had a chance to do some homework on a lot of the guys that are going to be on this show tomorrow. I'm bringing this one out. And I'm open firing on this statement. Folks, I know the trend still reads to call anything that is not WWE independent wrestling. This is professional wrestling. What you're going to find tonight in Carrollton, Georgia, what you're going to find tonight in Pell City, Alabama, is an indie wrestling. This is not independent wrestling. I've been around this industry too many years. A lot of people have been trying to make the connotation between the word independent and outlaw. Huge difference. Huge difference. I understand the factor that, yeah, okay, fine. We don't have the budget of WWE for the lights, the pyro, and everything else in play. That does not discount the fact that you are going to see tried and true professionals inside of a squared circle giving everything they've got, and probably sometimes more than what you'll see on national television. No denigration whatsoever intended toward WWE. And I'm not going to say it about TNA or Ring of Honor or New Japan. All the different shows that have national television exposure. I found Access TV last week, and I've been catching up on a little bit of New Japan. Love it. Appreciate it. Wish I'd have found it sooner. But folks, I'm going to go ahead and say this. We need to, and this is going out there to every person in the ring, every person at ringside, every person on the stage, every person in the locker rooms. I say this because I can prove it. You say it, you better prove it. What you're going to see tonight in Pell City, Alabama, under the banner of Global Championship Wrestling, and tonight in Carrollton, Georgia, under the banner of Peach State Wrestling Alliance, ain't independent wrestling. This is professional wrestling. And we can come together For those who are good enough to prove it, prove you are pro wrestling. I have now thrown down the gauntlet. Oh, and believe me, there's more bullets in the chamber. But we're out of time. I was hoping to get Shane back in. I have not heard from him yet to find out what happened with his phone. I was afraid that his phone might have died, and it picked the worst damn time to do it. Because I know
I come over and took over the show. That's what it was.
Yeah.
You can't speak. It goes from a 2-person show to 1.5, and then 15 with me. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. This is what happens when you take my show away from me on Wednesday nights. Which I hope you did have a fantastic birthday, sir. You definitely deserved it.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I almost called you and said, "Get your ass to the telephone. Let's go." You and Angie would have gotten your wish Wednesday had we done that show.
Hammered. We were hammered.
So I was working on it.
I'm sure you were.
In multiple locations, I was hammered and working on it even more so, but did not drink and drive.
Amen.
Because I didn't want to spill my drink. Wick, last call, shameless plugs. Take them on out.
Wednesday night, the To Be Determined Show live, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, Beyond Ringside Radio Network, BeyondRingside.com, and the Beyond Ringside Radio app. Also, Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Ustream, Podomatic, and I know I missed something, the iTunes Radio app, iTunes, everything. You can check us out. Thanks to Eddie for this. Tonight, of course, GCW Phoenix City is dead. There is only one GCW. And if not, go to Peach State.
Amen.
At Wicked Nemesis on Twitter. And, of course, the Wicked Nemesis and Sevenfold Saints, the Merchants of Death, and the To Be Determined Show, and the Unlucky Charms still. All have Facebook fan pages. Give us a like and a share if you will. If not, we understand. And Eddie, thank you for letting us come on. Shane, thank you for letting me come on and be like, hey! But Shane knows I'm very passionate about Peach State and about GCW and about wrestling. And we will have the independent wrestling talk because let me tell you something. I'm an independent wrestling manager and I'm a professional because guess what? I get paid a lot to do what I do, but nobody keeps me down. Can't nobody take my pride. Can't nobody hold me down.
Matthew Wilder.
I got to keep on moving.
Matthew Wilder.
That's a fantastic song.
Oh, yeah. The epitome of the 80s all over again. Kind of like Dancing Queen was 1979. I hate the fact that Shane lost his connection because I was hoping to find out what the bonus question was this week in Useless Trivia. Damn it, I hate it when that happens. And find Shane on Facebook. Also, because you can also find out where Useless Trivia is being held. I know that he normally does it at the Mellow Mushroom, I believe, in Jacksonville or Oxford. It's one of the two. I need to start writing these down. That way I can have it directly in front of me. Folks, definitely catch him on Facebook. Also, at The Real PWA over on Twitter. PeachStateWrestlingAlliance.com for our friends in the Central Georgia area. All the way through Georgia. Take the time tonight. Make the move to Carrollton. Peach State Wrestling Alliance is going to rock the house. Also, from that vantage point, at Fast Eddie Lane, LAYNE on Twitter, Facebook.com/Fast Eddie Lane, and of course, FastEddieLane.com is the home site. From that vantage point, let's go ahead and shift it just a little bit. Tonight, looking forward to it. Pell City, Alabama, Pell City Civic Center, bell time 7:30, doors open at 7. Tickets are only $10 each. GCW Regeneration, GCW hashtag Fatal 4-Way. Going to have some fun tonight in Pell City, Alabama for our friends in our home market of Alabama. Damn sure. Come on over. Let's have some fun. And my birthday weekend continues. You don't have to bring me cake. Drop by. Say hi. That's it. I'm the hardest person in the room to find 9 times out of 10. And to everybody who has been sending all the birthday wishes over, thank you so much. I do appreciate it more than you realize. My dad called me a little while before we went on the show this morning and said, has it sunk in yet? I said, Dad, it sunk in 2 days before. I finally made it. Well, you know something? I'm thankful for the first 50, and I don't know how far into the second 50 I'm going to get, but I appreciate every day that I do get. Thank you to my family, more than you realize. Thank you to my friends. It's been a great ride, and it just keeps getting better. At Beyond Ringside on Twitter, Facebook.com/Beyond Ringside, Facebook.com/Beyond Ringside Live. and also on MySpace, LinkedIn, Google Plus as well. From that vantage point, for everybody listening on the live side, thank you so much through .com, through the Beyond Ringside radio app, through TuneIn, Shoutcast, Win app, Ustream, all active up and running today. To everybody who is catching this on replay, thank you, greatly appreciated. Through Ustream, YouTube, through the station itself, through Stitcher, Spreaker, Podomatic, iTunes, Downcast, all the different methodologies that are out there. Believe me, it is appreciated, and thank you for making us a part of your listening day. For tag team partner Shane Knowles, who is probably pulling his hair out. Oh, wait, too late. Love you, Shane. Had to do that one. For the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis.
Crunk.
For his much better half, Angie Nemesis.
Oh, she is in the shower.
Oh, rats. Well, stick the phone to the... Don't answer that. No. Don't do that. Don't do that. I am the Magic City Motor Mouth, the birthday boy, Fast Eddie Lane, saying until next time. Adios, das vidania, hasta luego, auf Wiedersehen, ciao, sayonara, adieu, arrivederci, farewell, abbassino, au revoir, until we meet again. Yeah, O'Hagan, try getting that up to speed. Love you, Josh. I really do, brother. Till next time, and aloha means bye-bye. Join us right here next time as we all go beyond ringside. Folks, the cabinet's being closed. The bullets are already on the shelf. The shooter's gallery is now closed. Until next week, bye-bye. It's party time.